Hello and welcome back to the channel. And today you find me beside the sea in Bognor Regis, and today I'm just going to take you for a short walk. We're starting our walk out at Butlins Resort. This tent-like building, if you're not aware, this is a part of Butlins. There's also hotels just over in this direction. But basically they have lots of entertainment underneath this massive tent structure. It's very popular and what generally brings people to Bognor Regis. So whilst we're here, we can see in the distance there the tower or the top of Hotham House or Hotham Park. So as you can probably see from these gentle slopes here, Bognor has been a perfect place for people to fish and also to smuggle from. Down at Aldwick, where the Aldwick Rife, there is a kind of port, or there used to be a port down there, and this has been primarily a fishing village, coastal village, right the way along till the 1800s. And it was at that time that Sir Hotham, famous for Hotham Park and Hotham House, decided to turn this into a resort. And he did actually name the place Hothampton for some time, but it didn't catch on. But it made it very popular, especially when the railway turned up in Bognor and people were able to come down from London. These sort of buildings here are reminiscent of what would have been here before. This is a new incarnation of the Victorian splendour. Unfortunately, like most seaside towns in Great Britain, after the 18th century, everything kind of got into decline, or 19th century, late 19th century, everything started to get a little bit run down. These modern flats here, and I guess these are sort of 1930s houses going off into Bognor. At night time, we've got a light display along the seafront, and the old bandstand from the 1800s. Little use of it now. Generally speaking, most people that come to Bognor now are coming to the Butlins Resort, and maybe they'll take a walk along to the pier and have fun in the amusements. Bognor was really in its prime in the 1800s and the early 19th century. You've got these grand old structures here. Days gone by when it was a lot more popular. So promenading was very popular in the 1800s and early 19th century, and that's one of the things that Bognor is good for. You've got this very flat promenade right next to the beach. It's a shingle beach with sand out there, but not as popular as the sand beaches on the other side of this peninsula at West Wittering. But still, very flat beaches, so if you do want to come out to have fun on the beach with the kids, it's a very gentle slope. You'd have to walk out an extremely long way before the sea level starts to drop off and get quite deep. 24 years ago, to celebrate the millennium, these torches were erected, and this one still remains. So these were all the way around England, going back to the old days when people used to communicate by lighting torches. Looks like they're getting ready for summer here, refurbishing the children's play area. Just installed a few years back this new play area there, which is very, very popular on a sunny day. At first glance I thought this was a new toy install, but it's actually a real JCB, just extremely small. Along the seafront, most of the properties have been torn down and replaced by these rather ugly incarnations from the 1990s and the 1980s, but you do get these odd Victorian properties still in place. Really great, to be honest, to be able to see some of these older properties still in use. So this is one of the reasons that people come to Bognor. A relic from the past the pier. I would imagine this would have been much longer in its day, and basically when this was its height of popularity, people would be coming to Bognor onto the pier and getting out into the sea. All of this infrastructure at the start of it would have been for entertainment purposes. As you can see now, it's looking a little bit run down and generally not invested into. They just sort of keep it going at the minimum. Comment down below if you know who Eddie Stenner is.
Just off to Jelly Jam Records, which is my shop, top shop in the area, stocks just about everything.
Seaside towns, very popular with the pitch and putt scene. Here we go, just got an example of how the pier used to look, and looks like ships used to dock on the end of the pier. Said previously, very popular with amusements. I won't go in there because you won't be able to hear me over all of the noises going on in there. So it's good to see we're having some work carried out to the pier. New planks going down. As we saw on the picture previously, this would have gone right out to a platform right in the middle of the sea. But still, as it stands today, it's great to be able to get out onto the pier and look along the coastline to the South Sea Peninsula. So the seafront's very changeable. We've got some quite run-down properties over there and over there, and this lovely old Victorian building here, which looks like it's been given a new lease of life by popping these extra bits on. Definitely a lot more modern on the sides of it. So like a lot of these seaside towns, we have these gardens erected right next to the seaside, and this basically allows the properties to be built either side, and if you get out onto your balcony, you technically have got a sea view, so it just means all of these properties are a lot more desirable because they have a sea view. This one's a port imitation of some of the bigger ones that we see in the likes of Brighton. So this is a wonderful building, the Royal Norfolk Hotel, probably named Norfolk after the Duke of Norfolk, who sits in Arundel Castle rather than the county of Norfolk. But when we look round this direction, we can see the reality of Bognor today. Unfortunately, these older buildings just get too expensive to run and fall into disrepair. So here we can see some of the Victorian properties. This one's quite a fancy one with all of its metal work on the top. And the reason that we've got so many fancy properties is that King George V stayed in Bognor during the early 19th century, I think 1930s. Stayed here for 3 months, and after him staying here, it got the name Bognor Regis, after the regent. The reason that the south coast got very, very popular with these people is because of the salt air. As the sea hits the shore, it vaporizes the salt. You can see the effect of that on any metalwork that's exposed to the sea. Everything corrodes quite heavily down here. You can see on these lamp posts. But salt is a antibacterial, and yeah, that's why it's such a valuable resource. And vaporized salt in the atmosphere would have been very good if you had breathing difficulties, and overall just good for your health. So you can see why it became quite popular with people that lived in the smog of London to make their way to the seaside to recuperate. So I've chosen today to come out and record, and I chose it because the weather wasn't great and we're suffering a little bit from the rainfall. It's quite unpredictable with storms coming in, this time from the north, but often coming in from the sea. Quite a lot of rocks out to sea here as the tide goes out, as you can see in the distance there, all the rocks. So we're kind of exiting Bognor now into the area more commonly known as Aldwick. So there's Bognor Pier in the distance, and we just walked along the promenade. Lovely beach huts there, and then if we look in this direction, we've got this, and this is an old lookout from the World War. So this would have been a station looking out over the sea, just guarding whether or not the Nazis or the Germans were going to try and make a crossing over on the other side of Selsey Bill there. They did plan to make a landing at Bracklesham Bay, but the reason that I've made this long walk is to come and see this. Now let's head down the beach to have a look at what we've got here. Right, so regular viewers to the channel will know that I've been talking about Masters of the Air, a new TV series made by the producers of the Band of Brothers for Apple TV. And this week's episode was episode 8, and it was talking about D-Day. So the reason I brought you here is what we've got here laying on the beach is one of the mulberry harbours. So how these worked, so for D-Day what they were doing is they were creating these concrete boats, and they were floating the concrete boats across the channel, and then essentially they were sinking the boats and filling them full of aggregates like these pebbles, keep them in place. This gave them a harbour where they wouldn't have a harbour, and it means they could land heavy vehicles like tanks. As you can imagine, on this soft sand here, they would sink in quite quickly to the sand. And this one here, basically there was a storm on the 4th of June, and this particular mulberry broke free and washed up on Bognor Beach, and has been here ever since. So let's head over and take a closer look. So here we go. This is what happens to things that are left in the sea. As I said, you can see how this is all made up of concrete, and vaguely in the shape of a ship, and then it had these hollowed out sections here. Like I said, they'd sink that when they got onto the other side. I think they were making the crossings all the way along the coast, but some of them were coming through from the Portsmouth direction. Not quite sure where this one was constructed, but they were being constructed and then floated out. Another perspective there, you can see he's taken out some of the interconnecting panels in the chambers. To be honest, I thought these were going to be bigger than this. Right on the end here you can see where, just like a key you'd find by the side of the sea, you've got these mooring points there for probably lashing them together, lashing ships onto them. Not very flat. I was expecting it to be flatter, and this is the bottom. No, because we've got the quayside bits here, haven't we? So yeah, expecting it to be flatter so they could run vehicles over them, but maybe there was a decking that was attached to the top. As you can see, the rain has kept most people away. On a hot summer's day, this would have been swamped with people. So hope you've enjoyed this short video. If you'd like to see more content just like this, then please remember to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching.